Hello everyone, a while back I introduced a methane intake plugin for use at Titan. It's a special kind of intake because normally intakes can only take in intake air, quote unquote, which only works at Earth as far as real solar system is concerned, and then Earth and Lathe in the stock system. Well, we could have the ability to intake methane at Titan or carbon dioxide at Mars if we could use it. Of course, you would need something special in order to use it as well, so we have a special methane jet in this case. And the thing is, it's not as good as being able to take intake air because intake air is oxygen. Oxygen is more dense and more of the mass involved in what the actual jet is burning. So we would like to take in oxygen, but we can't. Titan doesn't have oxygen, so, not in the atmosphere. So we have to take in the methane from the atmosphere. That's the best we can do. And so I made the plugin so that we could do that. So at least we wouldn't have to carry the methane, even though we still have to carry the oxygen. So I have made special parts now. There's a methane intake for Titan, as you can see here. And I've made a jet. And I'll package these up along with the plugin so that you can use them. And you probably won't be wanting to use this part in particular, maybe, maybe not. The intake is a separate thing. The jet can actually act as an intake all on its own. It's just that if we have the intake back there with the way the wing is, it'd be blocked from the airflow a lot of the time. So I have the intake extension here. And also that allows us to put it on the mount as well. So yes, I'll give you the parts, but probably you'll want to copy the bits of the parts onto other parts in order to use it. And you'll be able to see how I activated the methane in the atmosphere of Titan so that we can intake it and use that method to do other planets. Maybe for a custom system like in the Outer Planets mod or the stock system, you can give it the ability to intake some element there. Your choice, of course. So that's the idea. So you'll be able to do that with the files I provide. The configuration for the atmosphere is in the plugin folder, and then the engine part is separate. But you'll be able to see everything. But let's test this out at Titan, shall we? First of all, note that I didn't put any methane in here, and the jet will use methane gas. It doesn't use the liquid methane. So it's direct, there's no cryocooling involved. And I'm just going to set position to within the atmosphere of Titan, let's say 10,000 meters. And I think that'll do. No easing to the ground. Okay. Well, that sounds like wind to me. Okay, so I opened the intakes. For some reason with the plugin, it doesn't like to start with the intakes open. And let's get atmospheric autopilot. We'll need to get some speed, of course. Not too much. The atmosphere of Titan is pretty thick. And this is the sort of landing gear, so I have to raise it like this. I should just put it on the action group, but again, the actual gear that's configured like landing gear doesn't work properly. These are fairly small jets, but that's fine because we can't go fast at Titan anyway. So basically we have to stay subsonic. Now, with the thicker atmosphere, you might think that the speed of sound would be higher. Normally, with greater density, we get a higher speed of sound. But because it's methane and the atmospheric composition, well, it's not just methane, it's also nitrogen, but the atmospheric composition, as it turns out, does not make the velocity higher. And also there's a temperature. Temperature also affects it. But as you can see, we're cruising along. We are consuming the oxygen. The nitrogen is just nanoliters because of boil off. But we can fly, we can go up. I have to be careful, it's a little bit fidgety. The thickness of the atmosphere sort of does that. You can see the atmospheric density is 3.8 in far there. And it's high dynamic pressure like that. I don't know how far up we can go, but we can try. I'll have to take a look at exactly how much oxygen should be used in this case. I'm assuming basically the sort of ratio we would expect if we were just doing rocket mode. It does provide extra thrust because we're burning the methane and oxygen, but it's also sucking in the nitrogen from the atmosphere. And we've got some bypass for that, of course. Not a whole lot. There's a low bypass jet, but it at least has some. I made it very simply. I just decided to make it shiny. Not a very sophisticated jet engine. I'm not at all sure how high we can go before the plane stalls like this. It doesn't show any delta V for the hydrolox mode, though that's probably because these are in triprop mode. Let's see. There we go. So we've got 1,100. That won't be enough to make orbit. We'd have to carry a little bit more to make orbit. Orbital velocity around Titan's about 1,600. And we'd still be facing some drag once we stop being able to use the engine, the jet engines. I don't know, maybe we can go past the speed of sound? Let's see. The amount of methane we can get out of the atmosphere, and it looks like we did break Mach 1 finally, should be dependent on the density. Right now, that's certainly not a problem. Oh, full thrust then. Oh, well, we've got an engine temperature thing. And high dynamic pressure. Well, we're a little bit better off on delta V here. But now it's going down because we're consuming the oxygen. We pass the optimal between the hydrogen and oxygen. Well, just audibly the engines aren't getting quite as much though. Yeah, well, that's still a pretty big flow. I don't know how the flow works with the methane, to be honest. I know it's going down as we go up, that's good. But that number sure seems high, even though I made the intake area like 0.5 or something modest. So I don't know how that works at all. But yeah, I don't think we have enough for rocket mode at all. Going Mach 2.4 wasn't really helpful. I don't know, how fast can we go? At 70,000 meters. It should sort of still be dependent on Mach number, so probably not much more than your SR-71 kind of thing. Well, we're gonna run out of oxygen anyway. Well, I'll have to figure out with the jets what the absolute minimum amount of fuel we can carry and still make orbit around Titan would be, but that's an experiment for a different time. Well, it's sure accelerating a lot. Well, but that's in speed. Well, yeah, it's accelerating a lot. I'm surprised, and we're gonna run out of fuel, run out of oxidizer before I find out what the maximum actually is here. We're in a happy density at 0.05 apparently. Well, now it seems to finally be reaching its limit around SR-71 levels. the oxygen's going out. Okay, well, still, it had a good run. So, we can have jet power at Titan. And it looks like this at Titan. So, with this now going to meet its demise, well, of course I'll revert, but having the space plane like that, I'll say thank you for watching. I'll put the file in the video description. If you enjoyed the video, please do press like. If you have any comments or suggestions, please leave them in the comment section below. And I'll see you next time.